So the definition of price discrimination is that when you're selling a product to different consumers at different prices, then we are basically doing price discrimination. But the more important point here to understand is that there is no change in cost. It's not the cost that's the reason why you're changing the price. For example, let's say if somebody asks for a product and he's buying in bulk, then basically your cost of production is low. If that is the case, then this is not price discrimination, because price discrimination का मतलब ये होता है कि you are charging a different price because of some other reason but not cost. Okay, so price discrimination, let's just read this there, okay, is where a firm sells the same product, right, to different consumers at different prices, even though production costs are the same. So your production cost is the same, yet you are charging a different price, and that's what we call price discrimination. So when you look at price discrimination, just to now go deeper in the discussion, price discrimination, with three forms of price discrimination out there. We call it the first degree price discrimination. That's uh, the most profitable one. Then we have the second degree. Something will CK Electric may do that. And then there's the third degree price discrimination, which is more commonly found. So what is the first degree price discrimination? This is the price discrimination where basically you are charging uh, every consumer a different price according to what their willingness to pay is. So each consumer, each consumer is charged a price that he or she is willing to pay. You know, if somehow or the other I get to know what you're willing to pay and I charge you that price, you will then be giving all your consumer surplus to me. And I want to give you an example through a diagram. Uh, and it's a very rare form of price discrimination because nobody will tell you exactly what their willingness to pay is. But let's say आपके पास you selling these 5 units for $5. Okay, so if you sell 5 units for $5, price is $5. One would argue this, that in this case the total revenue, if you're not doing any price discrimination, total revenue will be 5 times 5, which is $25. So this is the normal case where there is no price discrimination, and this is also a case where this whole region is your consumer surplus. Isn't that true? You have abhi tak karte aaye, we've done this before as well. Now, let's say we are saying this, that there is going to be price discrimination of first degree. In this price discrimination for first degree, each consumer, let's say first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, I charge a different price. For the first consumer, let's say I charge a price like $9. For the second one, I charge a price like $8. For the third one, I charge a price like 7, and then the fourth one I charge a price like 6, and the fifth one I charge a price like 5. So each consumer is actually asked to pay what he's willing to pay. So for my total revenue will be 9 plus 8 plus 7 plus 6 plus 5, which is equal to, if I'm not mistaken, will be equal to 35. But let me just confirm that. 9 plus 8 is 17. 17 plus 17 is 17 plus 7 is 24. And then 30, 35. Yes, $35. So what happens here, guys, is this, that my second degree price discrimination has done this, that each consumer is paying all of these points what you're willing to pay. So each consumer is willing to pay what each consumer is paying what he's willing to pay. So in this kind of price discrimination, the consumer surplus, so all the consumer surplus surplus will be converted into producer surplus. Are you all with me? Does that make sense? So consumer surplus will be now. Where do you see this kind of price discrimination happening? So I mean, a good example of this is that you know, why didn't you I multiply with the quantity? Because I'm saying every single unit is being sold. पहला यूनिट आपने बेचा 9 का, सेकंड यूनिट आपने बेचा 8 का, थर्ड यूनिट बेचा आपने 7, फोर्थ इज लाइक 6 and fifth is like 5. So each unit is sold at a different price. Make sense? So guys, in this kind of a case, this is the most profitable form of price discrimination. Why? Because why is it most profitable? It's most profitable because consumer surplus is completely converted into producer surplus. And it's very rare also. Nobody is going to tell you what your consumer surplus will be. कोई आपको बताएगा नहीं कि जी मैं ये willingness to pay है मेरी. But the reason why, I mean, sometimes a firm is able to do this. Let's say lumps की एक example है. Lumps, if you ask for financial aid, let's say lumps will basically um, ask for each and every information about how many ACs you have, how many cars you have, what's your father's salary, what's your bank account detail, sometimes tax information. So they ask for your tons and tons of information before they decide how much financial aid they will give you, and that is basically where they're trying to know what your willingness to pay is. Umar, agar main aapko, if look at this, Umar, if I charge you a price of $5, then you pocket 9 minus 5, $4 of consumer surplus. Isn't that true, Umar? But what if I charge you only what you're willing to pay, which is $9? Will you have any consumer surplus if I charge you 9? And the answer is no. For the second guy, what if I charge him $8? Will he have any consumer surplus? And the answer is no. Similarly, no consumer surplus if I charge you 7, and so on and so forth. So जो consumer surplus पहले मिल रहा था आपको, जब price $5 flat थी, versus अब है price पहले वाले को 9, दूसरे वाले को 8, तीसरे वाले को 7, and then 6, and then 5. Got it? So this is how consumer surplus is converted into producer surplus. So Zamir, the one example that I'm giving you is basically अगर मैं suddenly अगर आप किसी restaurant में जाएं और आपको आपको मेरे पास complete information हो what you're willing to pay, I can then charge you accordingly. A good example that I'm giving you is of how LUMS has a very long and detailed financial aid form to ask people what they're willing to pay, and then accordingly they charge or they give you financial aid up. So some kids are studying on financial aid, and some kids are studying for 100% paying 100% fee depending on what people are willing to pay. Does that make sense? Are we good? Now, why is this form of price discrimination very rare or difficult to find? And the answer is because this kind of price discrimination requires us to have that knowledge of what you're willing to pay. And that's why it's difficult for us to figure out, because if no consumer will tell you what you're willing to pay. So if no consumer is telling you what you're willing to pay, then therefore this information will basically will not be with you, and therefore you are not able to do what we call price discrimination. So if you're a monopolist who has that knowledge and is able to do that, then the consumer surplus will be converted into producer surplus. एक और example यहाँ पे ये होती है कि like आप बाजार में जाते हैं, like if you go with your mom, I used to remember I used to go with my mom, and my mom would bargain with the guy. वो होती है कि वो भाईजान ये कितने का है, वो होता है कि जी बाजी ये 200 रुपए का है, नहीं जी मैं आपको दूंगी 20 रुपए. And then the pricing, the bargain would go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And after like 15 minutes, something which was for 200 rupees would be then bought for like 160 rupees. And I'm sure there might be somebody else who does a better bargaining, would buy it for like 140 rupees or 100 rupees, and so on and so forth. So, so in a bazaar, when you or a market, when a producer does a bargain with you to know the highest price you can pay, is a case of this kind of a discrimination. Make sense? Are we good? Any questions, guys? Okay, now we come to rickshaw wala bhai. Rickshaw wala exactly rickshaw वाले के साथ आप करते हैं उसको बोलते हैं हाँ भाई पीसी से जाना है वो बोलता है कि 300 रुपये आप बोलते हैं यार 100 रुपये वो कहता है नहीं भाई फिर आप जाने लगते हैं आप टर्न करते हैं तो कहता है अच्छा भाई कितने दोगे आखिर तो आप बोलते हो 200 रुपये क्या लगा 250 आप बोलते हैं 225 तो वो बोलता है बैठ जाओ यू नो व्हाट आई मीन सो दैट्स बेसिकली जब वो आपको कहता है बैठ जाओ इज लाइक यार चलो ये विलिंगनेस टू पे मिल गई इसकी you never know what's the lowest price by the way he's going to go on what Zamid, what Kareem and Uber does is a different story altogether हम उस पे आते हैं ये वो first degree नहीं है Kareem Uber is not first degree peak factor is not first degree okay let's talk about second degree price discrimination guys are we going to move on but I like Umar's example of rickshawala okay, the second degree price discrimination, guys, is basically when a firm charges uh, different price according to how much they purchase. You know, like it all depends on how much you are purchasing. You know, for example, a good example of this is that when you're looking at utility companies like K Electric example लेते हैं now K Electric कर ये सकता है and this is what K Electric does if you look at the bill of K Electric this is exactly what K Electric does what K Electric does is this that K Electric for can sell for example 25 units at a flat price of $5 and can basically make $125 of revenue but they don't do this what they do is this that they actually look at for example first 10 units and then they look at next 10 units okay so first 10 units पे different pricing next 10 unit पे different pricing and let's say next 5 unit पे different pricing उनको ये पता है कि अगर आप सिर्फ 0 to 10 units यूज करते हैं if you look 0 to 10 units you must be somebody who doesn't have an AC in the house you must be somebody who might have only one fridge and you have very low consumption so the first 10 units they will charge you for example $3 cheaper than the flat price so you are somebody who pays for the first 10 units you pay $30 now next 10 units basically now you are somebody who's using between 10 to 20 units. If you're somebody between using 10 to 10 to 20 units, uh, this is basically when you are charging a price that is kind of like like you might have two ACs or three ACs or something on those lines. So they know this that you have a higher willingness to pay. They may charge you like $8. So you for the next 10 units you pay $80 and then for the next 5 now you're somebody who's probably got a large 1000 square yard kind of a big house or 2000 square yard kind of a big house you might have much more consumption and you might be paying like let's say I don't know $15 or let's keep the numbers easy $10 so that makes it $50 so overall bill for this 25 units now it's not going to be a flat 125 but it's going to be 50 plus 80 plus 30, which makes it how much? 50 8 plus 3 is 9, 10, 11. 11 plus 5 is $160. Makes sense? So in this kind of a case, you are basically charging different companies a different rate and so on according to what people are, according to what people's consumption is. Make sense? So you make more money depending on that. Are we good? Any questions, guys? Okay, awesome, guys. You guys are doing a good job, or I probably am doing a good job. So I'll be good with this example. The third degree of price discrimination, guys, is one जहाँ पे आप जो commonly देखा जाता है. In the third degree of price discrimination is where consumers are grouped into two or more independent markets. And this is where Kareem example would come into play. and each market is charged with a different price. So for example, like peak hours versus off peak hours. So that's a two different markets. So if you are a peak market, peak hours versus off peak hours, you are looking at a different story altogether. Isn't that true? Because peak hours में क्या होता है कि in a peak hour, you are looking at this kind of a story. So let's draw the diagram for peak hour and off peak hour. Okay, in a peak hour, guys, you would agree with me, the demand will be inelastic. Isn't that true? Rush hours में demand inelastic होती है, पर off rush hours में demand elastic होती है. So आप ये कर सकते हो कि दो ग्रुप में बांटो, peak hours and off peak hours. Peak hours में demand will be inelastic, okay, and your MR is also kind of inelastic. So this is my demand and MR in the peak hour. And in the off-peak hour, I have a very flat curve. Make sense? And this is my marginal cost. I'm assuming my marginal cost is the same, and I'm making a flat marginal cost. Why am I making flat marginal cost? अगर आप Uber driver हो, तो आपकी cost of ride जो है ना वो same ही है. This is what I'm saying. Your marginal cost is the same. Why? Because let's say आपको क्लिफ्टन सीडर्स से जाना हो PCS, वो assuming आप बोल सकते हैं कि भाई पीक आवर्स में सर ट्रैफिक ज़्यादा होगा तो पेट्रोल जो है वो ज़्यादा खर्च होगा, बट लेट्स अज्यूम फॉर सिंप्लिसिटी कि आपकी कॉस्ट $5 है दोनों जगह पे. सो पीक आवर में वर्सेस ऑफ पीक आवर में आप देख सकते हैं कि पीक आवर में MC equals to MR, your quantity is let's say Q1, but the price might be more, let's say $10. But off peak hour में you will charge only, let's say $7. Does that make sense? So you're charging $7 in the off peak hour. So the idea goes this, that in a peak hour, you are going to charge a higher price because you know demand is more inelastic. So you have a more inelastic demand. If you are able to figure out when the demand is elastic versus inelastic, then you can make a lot of money. Because if you know the demand is inelastic in a peak hour, you can charge a higher price and get away with it when then in a case where the demand is elastic. Make sense, guys? Are we good? Any questions, guys? Does this graph make sense? Are we going to move on? So let's look at examples of this one. For example, cinema ticket for young, if the young kids is different than the older kids. In aeroplane, for example, when you are going in an airline, under 12 pricing is different than above 12 pricing. Isn't that true? Also, when you buy the ticket matters. For example, अगर आपने last minute खरीदा ticket तो बहुत महंगा होगा. अगर आप 2 महीने पहले ticket खरीदोगे तो बहुत सस्ता होगा. 2 महीने पहले खरीदने वाला बंदे की डिमांड इलास्टिक होती है, लास्ट मिनट खरीदने वाली की डिमांड इनइलास्टिक होती है. So again, that's an example of how when you know that information, when the demand is inelastic, you're charging a higher price. Make sense? Yes, exactly. Weekend price is different, week price different. That's an example of, again, inelastic demand on the weekend, elastic demand on the weekdays. सुबह prices सस्ती, शाम में prices महंगी, kind of a thing. Make sense, guys? Okay. Moving on, let's talk about what are the conditions that are necessary for price discrimination. So when are producers able to do price discrimination? When are they able to sort of charge a different price? And there are 3 conditions that are necessary for price discrimination. Number 1, is just that a producer must be a price setter. If a producer is a price setter, then only he can do price discrimination. If you are a price taker, you can't, because you don't have an ability to set your own price. So in other words, price setter means you should have a downward sloping demand curve. If you don't have a downward sloping demand curve, if you have a perfectly elastic demand curve, then you're a price taker. So price discrimination cannot be found, is not possible in perfect competition. It is possible in imperfect competition like monopoly, oligopoly, even monopolistic competition, but not in your perfect competition. Make sense, guys? Second thing, guys, another point that we need to understand is that you can only do price discrimination if people have different price elasticity of demand. When people have different willingness to pay, then only you can do price discrimination. You can't do price discrimination when you have the same willingness to pay. You know, agar do consumers hain, unki identical willingness to pay hogi, you can't charge a different price. You need to have different elasticities. So if consumers have different elasticities of demand, then you can charge a different price. So the one with the more inelastic demand, you will charge a higher price, and one with the more elastic demand, you can charge a lower price. So PD, or willingness to pay, must differ. Make sense, guys? Are we good? Unless you don't have the different willingness to pay, you can't charge different people different prices. Third one, guys, are we going to move on? Okay. Third one is basically you should have an ability for the producer to separate the consumers. So, for example, let's say मैंने कहा कि मैंने PCHS में I'm going to have a different price, and let's say Clifton में I'm going to have a different price. Okay, let's say I'm selling cricket bat. ठीक है, मैंने बोला कि मैं PCH में बेचूंगा, you know, in PCHS I'm going to sell it for example, in PCHS I'm going to sell it for example, $10. Okay, and in Clifton I'm going to sell it for example, $20. And let's say Zamin ने कहा कि यार ये तो बड़ी अच्छी opportunity है. Let's say producer is Ali, and Zamin said कि यार what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to sort of buy it from Ali for $10, and I'm going to sell it in this market for $15. So Ali is selling it for 20, but किया ये आपने कि अली की मार्केट में जाके आपने जो है वो अली की मार्केट में जाके आपने जो है वो $15 पे बेच दिया. Does that make sense? एजुकेशन में प्राइस डिस्क्रिमिनेशन डेफिनेटली होती है. सीनियर में फॉर एग्जांपल कुछ बच्चे जो है वो 100% फी पे पढ़ रहे हैं, कुछ बच्चे 50% पे पढ़ रहे हैं, कुछ बच्चे 70% पे पढ़ रहे हैं. उसको आप फाइनेंशियल एड बोलते हैं, कभी आप उसको स्कॉलरशिप बोलते हैं, और दैट इज कॉल्ड प्राइस डिस्क्रिमिनेशन. मेक सेंस? It is price discrimination happening because everyone is in the same class, sitting in the same row, taking the same number of courses, and yet paying a different price altogether. Make sense? So, guys, the third condition for price discrimination to happen is basically if a producer is able to separate the consumer so that they're not able to buy the product and then sell it to another consumer. अगर मैंने जामिन को बेचा 10 पे और जामिन ने मेरी मार्केट में जाके जहाँ पे मैं 20 चार्ज कर रहा था उसमें 15 पे बेच दिया, तो मेरा नुकसान होगा. आई वोंट बी एबल टू सेल. या मैंने किसी बच्चे को भेजा $5 का टिकट और उसे जाके बड़े को भेजा $7 का, जबकि मैं बड़े से लेना था $10. So I should have the ability, by the way, to separate the market, so that no reselling is happening. So by separating the market, I should be able to have no reselling happening. Got it, guys? Bilal, किस तरह रेस्टोरेंट का बुक कैसे होती है? Can you tell me how restaurants do price discrimination? Give me examples of restaurants doing price discrimination.
सर जिस तरह कोई केटरिंग है, अब पीसीएचएस में उसकी जो प्राइसेस है वो कम है और क्लिफ्टन में ज़्यादा है।
किसकी? सॉरी, किसकी किसकी?
कोई भी केटरिंग, फॉर एग्जांपल कोई सा भी केटरिंग हो, ऐसा हो सकता है रेस्टोरेंट्स में।
Are you asking me or are you telling me?
सर आई एम आस्किंग यू।
तो my answer is definitely, जैसे आप किसी मार्केट में हैं, आपको पता है इस मार्केट में लेट्स से कंज्यूमर्स आर विलिंग टू पे लोअर प्राइस या कंपटीशन ज्यादा है। इंटरनेशनल मार्केट में कभी कभार कंपटीशन ज्यादा होता है तो आप प्राइस कम कर देते हो, डोमेस्टिक मार्केट में प्राइस कंपटीशन कम होता है तो आप बढ़ा देते हो, या कभी कभार डोमेस्टिक मार्केट में आप सस्ता बेचते हो और इंटरनेशनल मार्केट में आप महंगा बेचते हो, डिपेंडिंग ऑन बेसिकली your demand, your elasticity, and so on. So all of these are examples of kind of like that elasticity is different. Make sense? Discount vouchers price discrimination नहीं होती, क्योंकि discount voucher में कभी कभार costing भी different होती है आपकी। अगर costing different है तो price discrimination नहीं कहलाएगी वो। Make sense? Are we good? Now I want to come to guys the advantages of price discrimination quickly. And I want to sort of do the next discussion later because उसमें थोड़ा सा हम करेंगे, लेकिन one of the advantage you can see of price discrimination is this, that producers will be able to have more revenue, right? Because clearly different people are sold at different prices. You can have more revenue because those who are willing to pay more, you're charging them more. Those who are willing to pay less, you're charging them differently. So your total revenue will definitely go up. So price discriminations, बड़ा factor यही है कि you are able to make more revenue, right, as a producer. Make sense? Secondly, important point here, because you're able to sell more in this market, there is a possibility that producer can benefit from basically economies of scale. Because you are selling more quantity per year, there is a possibility of economies of scale can also happen. So selling more or to larger markets results in basically lower costs. So lower cost, higher revenue was the first point. Lower cost is the second point. And third one is this, that price discrimination may enable a firm to drive competitors out of more elastic market. So for example, आप करोगे ये कि आपने inelastic market में, in an inelastic market, for example, you will charge more. And then in an elastic market, आप क्या करोगे? You can do what we call predatory pricing. Remember predatory pricing जो हमने AS में सीखा था, where you will lower price to kill competition. Make sense? So there could be a possibility that if the firm is able to discriminate, then it may use profits gained in the inelastic market to lower price in the more elastic market. And that way you can undercut your competition, and that way you can actually make your competition disappear in the market जहाँ पे competition जो है वो आपके ज़्यादा है. Makes sense? You can charge a lower price also. Are we good, guys? Does that make sense? Any questions before we end? Because I want to do this part tomorrow. Price discrimination, public interest cuts. I'm going to do tomorrow, and tomorrow I'm going to look at a question for this discussion as well. So we will talk about, like the various sort of, is it good or bad for society is what we're going to look at tomorrow. I want to show you this diagram as well. We will be done with this chapter because अब 2 पेज रह गए, कल Thursday है, yes, and Friday की जो class है वो अगले chapter पे है. monopolistic competition or oligopoly pair. So that's what the plan for Friday is. We have 2 more chapters left before we end the midterm. Midterm के लिए 2 chapters आएंगे, labor market और imperfect competition भी आएगा. So we're going to do that. Okay, guys. Any questions before we end the class?